Yo, what is good in the web? This is your man Q, aka The Geek, back again after it feels like we ain't had the jacket on in many a months. Like 7, 8, 9, 10, 21 months. But what had happened was the algorithm. No, what had happened was Kobe, that's not LeBron's move. Actually, that was Kobe's thing. He started that like a long time ago. What had happened was I decided to double down on those RPGs, those role-playing games. And you know what? Honestly, I have to be real with y'all. Probably should have did it years ago, but I'm an Aries. I'm stubborn. I'm a fire sign. But water is in my heart, which that didn't have anything to do with anything. But what happened is I didn't want to niche all the way down, because I get bored of talking about the same thing. It's not that I don't love my RPGs. It's just that I do watch anime. I do like the MCU. Well, Jonathan Majors is back too, so shout out to the homie Jonathan Majors. See, when you peel back the sheets sometime, that's when you see the bed bugs. Well, you probably see the bed bugs because they bitch ass, but that's a whole nother story for a whole other time. Yesterday, I had the archive set and ready, which is going to be postponed to next week, which is why this video is slightly kind of late, and why this one is kind of going to be rickety, kind of all over the place. So I do appreciate y'all bearing with me, because we've had the Geek Talk, which that's still a work in progress. At the moment now, I have just been being featured on folks' podcasts because sometimes I have the tendency to put an extra read all about it workload on me that I probably, I mean, just think about it. The archives, which was supposed to drop yesterday, which is going to drop next week, Saturday, noon PST, till midnight PST is, it took a minute to render because I had to make custom. I mean, I had to, but the dream inside of my head, that thought inside of my mind, was to basically make Toonami, but with RPGs. And instead of going all the way back and using a lot of the same series that I did last year, what happened was there's a whole bunch of new games like Forspoken and Octopath Traveler 2, I almost said 6, which I meant was Star Ocean 6 and Final Fantasy 16. There's a lot of 6s. And then I finally played that legend, the Hanabaru. Let me see if I get my English, my Japanese correct. Sakagachi, relax, get off me. I know, listen, I got a black American accent. I don't always read Japanese's name right. Japanese names right. Plus I stream. So that means I'm automatically going to dyslexia some stuff. But what happened is I had it all set and ready after I had to cut and make sure that certain songs don't, like I have to be transformative about if I'm using a particular song, let's for say like the Octopath 2 main theme, because that was how I got my first strike earlier in the year. But I do understand why Square put down that hammer on me. They put down that hammer on me because of the fact that, their game just came out, which brings me to a segment spinoff of what I wanted to say earlier, because I got so much to say, y'all. So just kind of bear with me. It's going to slightly be jumbled and all over the place, but I will be cutting this up and putting it in segments here on the channel for the rest of the week. So that's actually going to be the particular layout or the set out. That's going to be what I'm going to be doing from here on forward. What I will be doing is this will be premiering here. I don't know if it's going to make the cut tonight, but 9 p.m. PST. Also, so if you're on the East Coast or you're a Canadian bacon, then you'll be able to watch it at 12 at night. But it'll be your time since y'all in the future and I'm in the past. But that's okay, because there's some danger. Then I can see it before it happens. That don't make sense. It didn't need to. we back 9 PST going forward. So the idea of this show is to bring back, which I had as the news a long time ago, but just, you know, the channel title, which is The Geek Show, will be this, and I will cover segments as in talking about some anime stuff, as well as some entertainment stuff, like Doug's new shoes. That was Granddad, you know, from Boondocks, John Witherspoon, R.I.P. John Witherspoon, love John Witherspoon. And shout out to his son, JD. JD's, that's the homie. But what I'm going to be doing here is, after we have the premiere of the live show, I don't know why I keep doing the Coke bottle with the hips, we're going to cut those things up into segments, because that's my sneaky way of still being able to slide in anime as well as entertainment and other things within the show, making this as, and then using this also as a podcast form, which I can eventually put upon all these other, you know, places where you ain't want to see my face, but I'm going to cut it up in segments, so then that way I can take the, like, One Piece conversations and Dragon Ball Z conversations or Demon Slayers or whatever fancies me, because I watch a lot of anime when I'm not RPGing, when I'm not role-playing. I actually watch a lot of anime. I mean, they go hand in hand. Like, when people say they don't watch anime, but they play RPGs to play video games, I'm like, well, bruh, sis, how you don't? Like, the stories are the same for the most part, except you're watching one in a, I don't like to use the word cartoon for when it comes to anime. I stopped dating somebody because of that. This girl turned around and said, I don't like that. And she pointed to my entire Dragon Ball Z collection. You got to go. You cute, Jessica. She was. Made me breakfast. But that, she had to go. You don't know. If you judging anime, baby, you judging me. Plus, first, it ain't a cartoon. It's an anime. It's a Japanese animation. They've got, like, real good stories in it. It's actual stories. It ain't that, you know, Looney Tunes stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with Looney Tunes. We'll get into that later. So the schedule, the plan is to be able to break these things up into shorts and segments here and throw them out on the channel, so there's always something. YouTube is a beautiful thing because of the fact that it allows you to be creative if you're able to utilize it in a certain way. How I've been able to navigate things and grow, shout out to all the new folks and the OG triple OGs who've been following your boy back when I was talking about Trump and Kanye Z in 2016. Yeah, it's been we've been out here, y'all. We've been out here. So, you know, this is the first rodeo. We've been out here. So, thank you for all the y'all and the new folks. I appreciate it, because like I said, I did double down here on the RPGs, and those will still be my main focal points and topics. So what I'll be doing is taking the segments, like the video games that's coming out September 2023. I will have that as its own complete segment later as well, if you just want to see that, like, 9-10 minute video or whatever here, or rather there then, which will probably be like Thursday. So Tuesdays and Thursdays will be the day that I have, like, the base videos, and then I'll be able to take out the videos from other things like One Piece. And I know I've been talking about a lot of One Piece. One Piece is out here. One Piece is out here. It's very relevant right now. If you don't know about One Piece, where you been at? Like, seriously, who are you if you don't know about One Piece? You ain't gotta like it to know what it is. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, I've been cleaning up and doing really well with these shorts lately, and that's great, and I love it, and I'm gonna keep on letting it go when it comes to that. I almost said something else, but it wouldn't sound right. It sounded better in my head coming out, but yeah. But I don't want to always be a shorts channel. What I am going to be doing is featuring the brand new next week's Who's That Black Person? Who's that black person? That's going to be premiering here on the Geek Show titled show, and then we're going to be doing some highlights of different things. I'm also going to start, I'm going to do it this week because I didn't prepare, because what we was talking about with the archives yesterday, it didn't fully render, and the time that YouTube fully rendered it all the way, it was still at a standard. For those y'all who are content creators, or for those y'all, let me peel the curtain back, lift up the hood. Basically, even if you stream in 1080p, sometimes it takes at least an hour to 3 hours for a video to fully render into its design natural state of being 1080p. And when you do a 12-hour block, well, guess what, guys? It's gonna take a long time. Now, yeah, I should have prepared for it. I did. But again, all the way back to my opening monologue, which we still on, is I have to, if you're going to do something, you got to do it right. And I decided that for Forspoken and Octopath, and for, I had to switch up Stranger of Paradise and Yakuza Like a Dragon, is certain DMCA songs or certain things you get hit, struck, and striked that I actually got 2 copyrights on this one that I have to clear up and fix. So I don't know if I'm going to have to re-render, which I hope I won't, because they said that the video is very long, so I can't just take out the songs. It's that damn Young Yachty song that I did in a parody, which I will be featuring one parody a week here. Shout out to one of the homies who have been promoting and pushing me to bring back parodies, which is one of the reasons why tonight's parody you'll see if you haven't already seen it, which is role-playing. So I will be premiering those here along with commercials and funny little shorts and stuff to make this Quentin's version, aka Geek's version of like The Daily Show, except, you know, I ain't Trevor Noah. I'm Quentin Williams, aka The Geek, aka The Geek Show. The first thing we wanted to talk about when it came to the word on the web or the hot topics is there's a lot of stars out, and I'm talking about Sea of Stars, and I'm talking about that massively. I'm hoping it's going to be successful. I don't have all the numbers right here in front of me of how many it sold. Starfield. Starfield has been the only game that I've been wanting for the Xbox, any Xbox, since Scalebound way back in, when was Scalebound supposed to come out? That was when we had actual hope for Xbox One. So that's what, 2013, 2014, yeah. This game is, well, Bethesda says, the biggest game that they've ever done. And it's only natural that it should be because it's a space game. So let's think Skyrim in space. I personally haven't got a chance to play it yet. I've been salivating, waiting, drooling, and seeing pretty much everybody else who does have an Xbox. So, like, what, 3 people? I kid. They ain't coming for me. See, as soon as you talk about Xbox, the boys come for you. I ain't did nothing. Xbox, like, I'd buy one if you had some games to play that I wanted to play other than just Starfield, which I'm hoping, praying that Starfield is going to be the Xbox savior, or at least do something, because I like my consoles with a disc tray, even if 90% of all the games are still, you know, hidden behind a cloud and I gotta put the internet on it. That's okay. I like the trash can barrel Xbox X. I don't want the other one. You can get that. I see that one everywhere. I want the other one, the regular one, this one. I think it's sexy looking. It looks a lot better than the PlayStation 5, in my humble opinion. But at least the PlayStation 5 got more than one game that I want to play. So it's hard for me to think and want to shell out $500 for a $70 game, which you can play on Game Pass. However, you can't use the whole dollar Game Pass anymore, which is very smart by Microsoft. We see what you did. You can't do the dollar trial for the week or whatever and then play the game that's brand new. You gotta at least do the $15. Now, I would love to stream it, but the way that my rig is set up, she probably start coughing up blood and bits and data. From what I have seen though, and all the characters and the black folks on it, it's just, at least they got black folks on it. Final Fantasy 16. They look funny, but again, at least they're there. Also, we was talking about stars. Sea of Stars, I do know their numbers within like the first day or so, they've already sold 100,000 copies, which for an indie game that had been a slightly kinda indie, but not a big AAA title developer, making 100K is a lot. That's why even with Final Fantasy 16 was complaining and moaning and groaning, Square Enix talking about it, 3 million in the first 3 days was a lot. I don't think you're ever gonna get them Final Fantasy 7 or even 10 numbers, but 3 million is a lot. Maybe put a little more diversity into the game, and maybe we got a female character in this one, but can we play as her or Sid or Razzle-Dazzle, or I mean, if I could play with Rapide back from 2007, why can't I play with Torgal? I'm just saying. Also, just want to throw this out there. If y'all don't like Forspoken, then you probably don't like Final Fantasy 16 because it's got the same damn battle system, same mechanics. Chocobos in the sky, I thought they couldn't fly. Grab the sticks, some tips and tricks, we're role-playing. I can be anyone in an RPG, don't be nasty, we're role-playing. I can go anywhere. Action or ATB, still an RPG. We're role-playing. Role-playing. Speaking of them RPGs, because we gotta stay with these RPGs, finally, February 24th, I think it's February 24th. Again, y'all, I'm sorry, I ain't got my papers in front of me. I'm going off of the dome. February 2024, beginning of the year, we're finally, we're going to get a chance to see that game that we thought was never going to come, and that is Versus. Well, Versus has been out. I'm talking about Granblue. We're actually finally going to get Granblue ReLink, and I'm thankful and glad that we're going to get it next year, because I was very scared for this game because of the fact that you had 2 behemoths, matter of fact 4 behemoths that you had to contend with within was it, what did that come out? That came out last year. Elden Ring, which is why Tears of the Kingdom dropped this year. Tears of the Kingdom, which will be Game of the Year, let's be real. It's DLC of Breath of the Wild, which is kind of why I'm only 15 hours in. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't come for me with the pitchforks. And Final Fantasy 16, as well as Baldur's Gate 3 and Starlink and Sea of Stars. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of huge, massively 100 plus hour type RPGs already out. So thankfully they decided, hey, let's just wait till the beginning of next year. Even though it might get caught up in the raft of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I'm still, and I had a debate on the comments a couple of months ago because this dude thought I was preposterous, I was outlandish, that I said I'm more excited about Final Fantasy VII, the remakes, the Rebirth, than I am about Final Fantasy 16. One, the reason why is because the Godfather, Hinabaru, himself produced Final Fantasy VII, and that was still under his reign at that time. And since then, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. I'm sorry. I buy them. I like them, except 13 and its entities. But Final Fantasy has not been the same since the merger and since Hinabaru decided to step down after the debacle of Spirits Within, which, if you go back and watch Spirits Within now, I think you have a better appreciation for Spirits Within now, because damn it, Spirits Within is a hell of a game. Like, it will be a great game now. I can see them making that game now, to be honest with you, because we haven't had a Final Fantasy in space, and they need a Final Fantasy in space. Also, they need a Final Fantasy with a lead black protagonist, and I'm not talking about a female. No, I love my sisters. Now, y'all know this. I love my ladies, and I love my sisters. I love you, Frey, with your fine behind. They did you dirty on Forspoken. Because it's a model who does it. I forgot her real name, but she's a baddie. And they kind of dropped the ball a little bit when it came to Frey. Also, she's like really tall. She's like 5'11". You know, for us average dudes, you know, I mean, Frey, if you want to wrestle, you can wrestle, but you ain't gotta look down at the top of my head, woman. It's one of my insecurities. Don't do me like that. I like to see a brother, a non-stereotypical black male protagonist. I know, I keep saying it. Myself or someone like Black Sands, Manuel, he's gonna have to do it, or a Nick Draper, or my homie Gary. We gonna have to do it. Even though the homie Gary, he ain't got no black characters in his story that I know yet. He's working on the game. That's a featured story and an interview for, look, my Jedi mind tricks, my geek mind tricks, for another day. You just forgot what I said. We'll talk about that at another time. I am excited about ReLink, like I said, because I watched the anime. I did not play the cell phone game. I played the Versus game, and I did like the fact, and I like when games decide to merge two elements. And if you're a 90s, 80s, maybe early 2000s kind of guy, a gal, a geek, then you know that fighting games and RPGs were heavy until, well, Halo and Call of Duty like took over, and now the only games that matter are first-person shooters, which is kind of the skills of conviction are balancing now. Like, it's really going back to like everybody and their granddaddies making RPGs again and again. I love it. That's why we here. That's how we growing, and that's what we gonna continue to talk about. So One Piece does it to me again, and for those of y'all who have not been watching One Piece, or I don't know where you've been at, especially if you are in any of the nerd or geekdoms or anything else in between, you can't get away from One Piece. It has even now made the great exodus over to Netflix, which I'm only on like episode 3. I have to admit is head, shoulders, feet and toes over what Cowboy Bebop, the live action debacle was. Now, mainly, probably, especially since Luffy, I forgot the dude's name, he actually plays a solid Luffy, and oh wow, so proud of y'all, Netflix. So proud. Somebody up in the war room said, hey, he's actually Brazilian. How about we actually make this man Brazilian? Because that's what the creator Oda had him as well. But I'm going to be talking a little bit about the anime, especially right now. I'll go into later about the One Piece, from what I know, seen in some of the animations and stuff that I thought was going to be boo-boo butter. Actually turned around to be pretty damn solid in the Netflix adaptation, which Netflix does it again, which is it's cool. You are able to watch them all super real quick. Well, not super real quick because they're an hour, but it's like 8 or 9 episodes, and everybody who has played it, I said played it, damn, I still got game. Must have games on the brain. Always got games on the brain. It's just so many games out right now. But Gear 5. For those of y'all who have seen and or not seen, I don't know, again, where the hell you been at? If you on the X, aka Twitter box, or anywhere else, and you heard about One Piece. Like, how you ain't heard about One Piece, though? But anyway, Luffy is all Ultra Instinct up, and you know what? I like it. I actually like this Luffy's Gear 5 a lot more than I liked his previous one, which was the Snake Man, and what was Spring Guy, Spring Dude. The aesthetic of it looked real cool in the beginning, but I was not really feeling him bouncing, curling up, and had the pigtail, hitting enemies, and all that other X, Y, Z. However, this whole Looney Tunes, Rugrats, all that, I like this new Gear 5. What's the name of it? Loki, the legendary fruit, is the same one Doflamingo had, basically one of the fruits that are like the most powerful fruits, which allow the user not only to utilize the ability which they have, like, so, you know, Luffy is rubber, it also gives them the ability to transform whatever they want into the ability that they have. My dude's out here grabbing lightning from the sky and unharmed because he is made of rubber. And I love it. The only thing I don't love about it is they got that whole DBZ thing going on for him. And for those of y'all who have been familiar and been watching DBZ as long as me and or longer, know that right when we getting ready to get some action, guess what? There's going to be a whole monologue, or we're going to have a recap and a re-see of people talking that we don't even care. You know what? I love the boss, the little bitty Danny DeVito dude who could transform into Arnold Schwarzenegger. Actually, you know, they was on Twins together. But I like him, and I really like a lot of the samurai, even though some of the samurai, the same like 5 or 6 colorful hair dudes, are still alive. How you have fought Kaido, but you still alive with no major injuries? But that's besides the point. If you gonna have a party, you want a Wano party. And why you want a Wano party? Because them parties last 130 episodes and everybody's smiling. Ain't no sad faces out in the crowd. That's one of them Wano parties. But a lot of people have, I don't want to say misconstrued it, or basically said that Oda and One Piece basically copied off of DBZ when it came to the Ultra Instinct, or Dragon Ball Super. I just call it Super. But again, they both just got white hair. Now, I like Gear 5 more than I like Ultra Instinct, because really on Ultra Instinct, it just seems like Goku just got a new, you know, hair dye and a power up. I'm not really a big fan of Jiren, to be honest with you, mainly because I know this is way years ago talking about Jiren and Ultra Instinct, but it's relevant because we're talking about One Piece and we're talking about Luffy, who a few weeks ago made the transition, which I still think Goku would, you know, like blast a hole in him, because as we've seen, he can still get cut. So if you can get cut, I actually think Goku will want to just chop it up and eat with the homie Luffy, but Vegeta will get a little angry because he don't want no number 2 coming in, but Vegeta would, I think, be able to put them hands, feet, shoulders, knees and toes on Luffy as well, because the whole power scale, when it comes from anime to anime, I still think DBZ, and then probably Bleach, is on a level way bigger than anything that's on One Piece. But these Logia users, these Doflamingos, I can rethread my damn rib cage and organs when you shot me up and beat me down, and Luffy being able to transform basically metal, stone, and everything else into rubber, that could be a problem. It's just, for me, again, Goku didn't really make a major transformation other than how great the Spirit Bomb looked when he was absorbing it. I had never seen that type of transformation, but the Luffy being Goofy, see how that even goes together? Luffy, Goofy, Woofy, Toofy, Goofy, Luffy. I really like that Looney Tunes feel where he's getting hurt, but is he really getting hurt? Because he can change the dynamics to his environment. And my biggest gripe with it, how come we gotta wait to the episode afterwards to see what's gonna happen next? This is like when my grandmother used to have me watching One Life to Live and all my children as a kid. Don't let it be Friday. Because on Friday, Todd Manning and them boys and Vicky and Nikki and all them other folks would have the best cliffhanger and got you tweaking and twoke for the next week. And guess what? That's exactly what One Piece did. We've seen Luffy, Gear 5, Ultra, Supermassive, Lightning Bolt, Hockey Hand, piercing the sky. But that was from the preview last week. This shit still ain't happened yet. I am excited to see what's going to go forward because I haven't read the manga in about a couple months. So I already knew what Gear 5 and everything looked like. Thankfully, I couldn't wait. I had to do the same thing with Rent a Girlfriend. I got thirsty, so I decided it was time for me to jump into the manga. But I have not been reading the manga in a few months. But we do know that Yamato stays in Wano, which my theory is her and Mamo gonna be hooking up because Mamo is like his daddy height and size once he gets reawakened as this 28-year-old grown-ass man. So I am looking forward to see what his power strength is, and it might be pretty cool to have the whole Japanese Shazam, because basically that's, you know, what he is. Little kid mind, but grown man body. Word on the web is, for those of y'all who don't know and haven't been reading the manga unless they decide to change it, and I don't see or have read or heard that they're gonna be changing it, Yamato will be staying in Wano, basically kind of like Big Unc Jinbei left for a whole damn arc, the cake arc. What was it? The cake arc with Sanji all the way until they got to Wano, and then he made his dramatic return. And the reason why is so Luffy's number 2 and number 3 being Zoro, then Sanji, can catch up to the level of skill that Yamato has. So I don't know what the next arc's going to be. Like I said, now it's making me want to go back and watch it because I'm starting to read it. I'm starting to get that itch. So I'm excited for it. I just don't like that these cliffhangers. I'm sitting here pressing pause, space bar, to try to see how much time I got left, because when you calculate the 2-minute and 30-second intro with the 2-minute and 40-second outro, well, that don't give a lot of meat and potatoes of the actual story. I will be finishing the Netflix adaptation maybe later on today or tomorrow, because from what I've seen, it looked good and they are factually correct. I did see this kid on Twitter talking about he was a little disappointed that he should have made, I don't know if he was a kid, maybe he wasn't, but he was talking about how they made Luffy should have been Japanese, and I'm sitting there with the kind of finger, you know, I'm just, bro, like, you need to check your geek facts, homie. You need to check your geek facts.
He wouldn't be afraid to show his normal side if he had one. His mother has a tattoo that reads, Geek. At conventions, cosplayers ask if they can touch him. He is the geekiest man in the world. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I drink wine. Stay geeky, my friends.
Before we jump into what September has to offer, how dare you not want to talk about Sea of Stars? Or the behemoths known as Baldur's Gate? So I've never really been a big Baldur's Gate fan, but I will tell you what, Baldur's Gate 3 looks really good, and I do want to play it with friends because I've been seeing my friends play it, and I want to play it. I mean, look, gather a party, return to the Forgotten Lands, a tale of friendship and betrayal, sacrifice and survival, or at least, you know, that's how it is when you sum it up. Baldur's Gate is a game that reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you guys remember, or for those of y'all that go back this far as well, it was an old Nintendo 64 game called Gauntlet Legends. You get your folks together, and it was fantasy, high elf, dark elf, orc, warlock, dragos, and everything else in between type of game. So if you like D&D, then you're probably gonna like Baldur's Gate 3, because basically it's D&D, but in a video game form. Baldur's Gate 3 dropped last month on August 3rd for PC, but see how I just made this little transition here? On September 6th, it will be dropping on PlayStation 5 and for Xbox Series X, S, and it's gonna be on Game Pass, because the Game Pass is looking more and more lucrative every day, even if they don't have the dollar pass. I still can play Starfield and Baldur's Gate, right? Right? Mucho customization, that means much. A lot of customization, a whole bunch of races that you can choose from, and a story that basically fits you. Also, you know, I don't think we need to talk about sex with a bear again, do we? But there's also that. The game was $60 for the PC, and it's gonna be $10 more for the Xbox X and S and the PlayStation 5. So, you know, $77.60 for that, you know, that California state taxes. But again, the game does look good, unless you have that early access Starfield, Bethesda's biggest, most highly, is it the most highly anticipated game? One of the most highly anticipated games is finally dropping also on the 6th. So get your coin purses and your pocketbooks ready, because this end of the year, matter of fact, this whole year has been chock full of a whole bunch of fighting games you need to play. Mortal Kombat coming soon. Also, that ain't an RPG. As well as Street Fighter 6, which had some RPG elements into it when it came to World Tour, as well as Tekken 8 on the horizon. But I digress. Starfield, the only game that I've been interested in the Xbox since, well, Scalebound, feels like I've said that a couple times before, is going to be dropping. Imagine millions and millions of stars in a system where you can make your own character, explore the world, and not just the world, but many worlds. And one of my favorite elements of all time, just because I think that more RPGs just need it, is the ability to traverse through space. Fix your ship, buy parts for your ship, be a mechanic, a star chaser, star traveler. I would love to see some kind of Metroid game take notes from this. I'm not saying that the new Metroid Prime 4, hopefully it's not gonna be a Prime first-person shooter game, maybe first-person shooter elements in it, can take notes from some of this, because if Link can do it, why can't Sammy? Starfield is set in an area that extends outward from our solar system, which is like approximately 50 light years, or so-called light years, from the settled systems, which the game says is taking place in around the year of 2310. So, damn, was that Cowboy Bebop type times? Which is going to be involving two of the largest factions in the game, which will be the United Colonies and the Freestar Collectives, which, of course, as Cortana says, there's going to be war. there's always war. I made this new oath to myself not to dig too much into plot stories or watching like the extended 24-minute to the hour trailers that Starfield and the boys over there and ladies at Bethesda have been doing, because I didn't want to not only spoil myself, but I also don't want to see so much of the game that when I get a chance to actually play it, I'm a little numb, because I like to be, I've watched and played and dealt with so much content. I like to actually experience something new with no expectations. Again, the game is going to be $70. I know. I know. Drop it on September 6th. So, can I get a review code, anybody? Please, review code. Microsoft. I know I just talked shit about you, but review code. I didn't say you ain't got no games. I'm hopeful. This is gonna be good. Review code, please. Rune Factory is back with Rune Factory 3 Special Edition. The Bachelorettes are out to play. Rune Factory 3 Special Edition introduces a new newlywed mode, as well as new side quests / adventures of the 11 marriage candidates after they marry Micah, who feature new character animations, voices, and also a hell, that's HE double hockey stick, difficulty setting that is said to stimulate and challenge players. Rune Factory's always been one of those series I wanted to get into. I guess I just gotta make myself get into it because it looks like something I'd like. The game drops exclusively on September 5th for the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, I already said it. Sea of Stars dropped in August, at the end of August, but how could I not talk about Sea of Stars? For one, well, it's in the stars, and it's one of the rare games that drops not only for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, but it's also an ode to my favorite game, which is Chrono Trigger, and if you played the demo, then you know it's got potential. It's got moxie. Actually, one of my homegirls just beat the game. I think she ate it up in the whole Labor Day weekend, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The good thing is she said the game was great. The bad thing is it really that quick of a game, or did you just go ham, sis? During a routine survey mission on this uncolonized planet, Kira, one of the main characters, finds an alien artifact, a relic, if you will. And at first, the girl's, excited, but of course, her excitement turns to terror when the ancient dust around her begins to move. Of course, this is an RPG, so there's going to be an empire and there's going to be some war. As a war erupts among the stars, Kira is launched into a galaxy-spanning odyssey of discovery and transformation. Classic RPG elements, time hits, time attacks, gorgeous colorful layouts and backgrounds cased in a pixelated format of old. Sea of Stars takes the best of modern and retro games, mixes them in a pot, and presents quite possibly one of the best games like this we've seen in a very, very long time. And if what I've played from the demo is any indication, and what I've been hearing too, also sold 100,000 copies for a game of its type in its first couple of days. That's pretty good. And if you're worried about buying Sea of Stars when you just bought or preparing to buy Baldur's Gate and or Starfield, because I don't know what these folks think, we ain't in a recession, we ain't, okay. Sea of Stars is only $34.99. If you get the digital, you ain't gotta pay the tax, which is really good because, again, y'all, there's a hell of a lot of games that are dropping. And not only the money, but when are we gonna have the time? On September 7th, the highly anticipated Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which I missed the beta, that will be dropping, and it looks good. And the ladies have been fawning over, as per usual, that is young Sephiroth. He is young Sephiroth. It's going to be exclusively for mobile, but the good thing about a mobile game is if you got a tablet, you can play it there too. I'm excited about it. but I am a little, unfortunately, can we get some new blood in Final Fantasy? 16 was good, but can we? Okay, it's 7, still the best in the series. On September 13th for the Nintendo Switch exclusively, it's Pokemon. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero Part 1. That's a tongue twister. The Teal Mask DLC drops. And I have a confession, y'all. I did not buy this last Pokemon because, well, I didn't play Sword and Shield. Because as nice of the graphical upgrade it did have, guess what? There was no voice acting and the game was pretty much the same. I will wait till it drops, which it might drop price this year, this Christmas, this holiday season. So I'll look out for it then. Or maybe I'll check out eBay. They usually have good prices. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2, the HD remaster drops for the Switch on September the 14th. However, as great as the game looks, word on the web was it's only going to be in Japanese dub, even though the original game was in English dub, because I had it before it got stolen. I don't really know exactly why. I didn't get a chance to research that before the video, so I can't go too far down that rabbit hole when it comes to that. But I will say, if they don't have it in English, that's a very big disservice. They need to do a download patch or something, because I'm one of them dudes. I actually like to listen in my own native language, and that includes anime. I know how some of y'all feel, but that's me. Lies of P drops for PS5 for Xbox One and S plus PC on September 19th, and The Legend of Nayata Boundless Trails drops for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC, also Europe on the 22nd. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty drops for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and for PC on September the 26th. I need to go back and finish Cyberpunk, but now, after watching the anime, I think I want to make David on my new playthrough. The month finishes off with Everhood Eternity Edition for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and S on September 28th, and Fate Samurai Remnant drops for PlayStation 5, 4, Switch, and PC on the 29th.
This is going to be the worst day of your life. I'm bringing nunchucks.
But again, interweb, that is what I'm looking at for the schedule. I'm looking at it just to reaffirm it here. We're going to be doing this show here at 9 p.m. PST every Sunday. We'll have it up, premiered, and it's going to be a lot better than how it looks now. But sometimes, with one of my advice I will always give people who are new streamers and content creators, is a lot of time we got to just press the button and deal with the ramifications and the consequences of how it's going to look and how it's going to be later. And also, again, like I've been wanting to bring back the coat, because I really enjoyed like doing the whole news anchor thing, because it's my superpower. I have been streaming over on Twitch lately since my schedule changed, Monday through Friday. However, I did take a couple of days off last week because of the archives, but you gotta make lemon out of lemonade somehow. Take that sour shit, put some brown sugar in it, some ice, put it in the blender, mix it up. You can even use the rhyme a little bit if you're dangerous. And bada bing, bada bang, you got you a lemon smoothie. And it ain't just sour now. It's sweet. Sweet. Like, lemonade. You might want to take the seeds out, though. You don't want any seeds. So I will be back. At bare minimum, we're going to be doing 3 days a week over on Twitch. But the goal is still to do 5 days a week. After, my day is settled down and I did everything I needed to do, that'll be at between 6 PST and 7 PST, and you can follow me over on Discord everywhere. Basically, I'm under The Geek Show, so in case I don't show, you'll know why. Plus, I do talk and stuff on X, which, does anybody else have this problem with X? That X? Anybody else has a problem with Twitter? I have it as a shortcut on my phone, of course, and here on my my favorites tabs. I keep forgetting it. I'm looking for the blue bird, and ain't no more blerd. Ain't no more blue bird. It's just an X now. It marks the spot. Oh, and as a side note, I told you, Jonathan Majors is back. Shout out to the homie Jonathan Majors. But as always in the web, this has been your man Q, your friendly neighborhood geek. I will be back next week here, same geek channel, same geek time, hopefully. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all the sociables. More content to come, much appreciated. We are hashtag on that road to 2K. That's the goal here for the end of the year, and 500 over on the Twitch box, and 1K over on IG, which that gets posted memes daily. Okay, well, Monday through Friday. I do need a chance to take a break. Can I take a quick little sabbatical? A little bit? I mean, shit. I'm only human. I gotta do other stuff too. Guys, thanks for being here, though. Also, shout out to the homie Kronos at the Kronos Show, who has the Kronos Show podcast, which I have been featured on lately. So if you want to, go ahead and check him out as well. I will be returning when he returns to his podcast in that time, because I might be on someone else's podcast next week as well. So we'll see. I will keep you guys up to date on everything. Archives again this Saturday at 12. I'll cut it and fix everything beforehand. It's better to be ahead of the curve than behind the curve. And I'm telling y'all, I'd rather do it like that than give you guys a 360, not Xbox. That was actually a good console, the last great Xbox in my opinion. Give you, because of the RPGs. In the beginning, I would like it to be HD and full glory. Also, I would like to get monetized for it. So I gotta cut some of the stuff out and make sure like I ain't got no wrong songs. Cause 10 seconds of a Young Yachty song preventing my 12-hour video from being monetized. Ain't nobody got time for that. But in the web, as always, let me get out of here. Remember to eat, sleep, geek, repeat. Holla at y'all later. Peace. Longest time, I wasn't being legit or for real with myself either, because that was a part of me. And even though I was doing it in secret. And then it just hit me. And that's when it hit me. And that's when I became a geek. Finally, the sleeper has awakened. I am the prince of all geeks once again.